Well, not satisfied with giving us two all UK ties in the group stages of the Euros, we have now been served up a potential classic for the last 16. In the second round, it is the Battle of the Islands, and we're going to see if we can make it to a quarter final. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 141 of this Build a Nation story, Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We are back today to face the Republic of Ireland in the last 16 of the Euros. Two sides that have got an awful lot to play for. Ireland with a star centre-half from Real Madrid, but a very ageing team. And we're very much the opposite. We've not got many superstars at all, but we have got a very young squad overall. If you're looking forward to seeing which comes out on top, I'm not confident it's going to be us at this stage, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We've also got big news from Distillery, both on the transfer front and on the potential to be done front. And Linfield are still trying to go big in a transfer window and may well be coming in for another one of our players. So lots to look forward to. We'll get to the football in a minute, but let's start with some Distillery news before we go to the nation, because the transfer front, it's looking pretty good. Lots of offers coming in for players. We're trying to get rid of lots of the fringe ones, whilst not parting way with any of the very unhappy first team players who will want to move on. The big problem with the reputation increasing of the league and of the club is that lots of Championship and Premier League clubs now want our star players. If we go to the ins though, there is big news on the way. We've got 2 or 3 players that we've either had on trial, are shortlisting, or are looking at getting on trial now. But the 2 that we have got secured are Michaelis Misalidis, who will come back. He has agreed to join the club, and with Beaton leaving, gives us an option on that left-hand side again. David Bird is the other one that has agreed to join, was on loan at Linfield and a star in that final as they kept a clean sheet against West Ham in the Europa Conference League, and he is a very good centre-half. An upgrade on what we've got, I'd say. Can also play left-back, which could be crucial. But looking now with Duncan McKenzie homegrown at the club, Luke Smith staying another year, having this guy as well gives us real strength in depth, and that is something we've got to look for. It looks like Linfield are going to replace him with Cameron Goss, and they're coming in for offers for him, so that could work out for all parties. We give them a good player, but one who's not quite as good as the one we're getting, having already given them cash if beaten, of course. But a really good state so far. We've got one deal done, which I'm thrilled about. And that man, if we go and have a look at him, as well as 2 staff coming in, which I'll show you very quickly, a new head of youth development who's very good, and another new performance analyst to bolster that squad. But the man who's come in on the transfer front is the return of Owen Kidd. That means he can become homegrown at the club. He's got massive potential, and I really want him to reach it. He's training regularly, he's a first teamer, he's full-time, and he's got a determined personality. So hopefully he will be someone who can make it. There are 4 centre-halves for the year, basically. McKenzie and Smith from last year. And we've got Owen Kidd. We've got the man, David Berg, coming in. Hamilton can be the emergency backup that's homegrown. And then Cameron Goss should move on. There's the plan for the year. So really pleased with where we are at the minute. But let's go and move over to the national team side. Because at the moment, we are going into a last 16 game. And we're not that confident, but that win against Scotland has given us an opportunity. The Republic of Ireland, though, who we're facing today, have got a star man in Georgie McCann, who is a centre-half at Real Madrid, has played for Villa, Wolves, Nottingham Forest regularly, is very, very good. He's elite, according to the media description. You've then got a lot of the experienced ones that were about at the start of the game. So Andrew Omobamidele, you've got Nathan Collins, a lot of good defenders, actually. And then Gavin Clark at Benfica is the next regen one, and he's a centre-half as well. So maybe they just play 3 or 5 or 6 along the back and let 3 or 4 attacking players go forward. Aidan Bolger at Southampton, he is a striker and he's better than anything we've got. So there you go. It's not going to be particularly easy, is it? Let's go and get through to the team selection, see how we're getting on today. Because as is the case when you're in these European tournaments and in these national team ones, you just don't have the fitness. We saw it in the head coach when we managed an international tournament there. You don't get to train the players because international football is so underbaked in FM. You don't get to communicate, you don't get to train, you don't get to manage workload. So you can't even rest players for a couple of days and manage their fatigue. And that means that you get to this situation, which will only get worse as we get through. One man we are going to have to take out, though, is Aaron Hill, who's just had a disastrous summer. Picked up an injury for the last 4 games of his league season, came back to fitness slowly, but now has picked up a virus and is unavailable for this. So in for him, I've got the choice of Johnny Burns from Coleraine, who, again, we're maybe looking at signing this year over at Lisburn Distillery. My other option is I could put Cian Clingan into midfield. It's a role he can do. I've never done it before. And then bring Mackie back in from suspension on the left, who is, again, a very good player. I think we're going to stick with a familiar today. So I'm going to go for Johnny Burns from the start. Mackie, of course, is back on the bench, as again, we cannot name the full 12. I know it's not fully fit, but we're not guaranteed to get through any round at this stage. So I feel like we have to go as strong as possible. It is Morgan Hassan in goal, Monaghan and Thompson the fullbacks, with Beacom and Hagan as centre-half, Burns and Ives the midfield two, Clingan on the wing with Cowan, and then Albert Press behind Donnelly up front. All three of our Distillery boys are on the bench, as is Linfield's, but Coleraines is starting in centre midfield. Let's go and get through to this game today, the last 16 of the Euros. It's a great occasion regardless, but hopefully we can go one further. A quarter-final would be a great achievement. But to be fair to the Republic of Ireland, a lot of those experienced players are actually on the bench for this tournament, so they have made that progression in game. The only ones starting are Nathan Collins, Gavin Bazunu. I think that might be it, actually. You look at the bench, there's loads of them. You've got Moran, Parrott, Travers, Teo Adaramola. We've managed him before in the head coach. Andrew Omabamadeli, we've mentioned. I mean, most of them are on the bench. So they've got experience to bring on if they're winning the game. But for now, maybe they're rotating. Maybe they are weakening the team and thinking they can beat us. We cannot afford to lose to our rivals. It's a great game regardless. But let's see if we can compete. If we can keep it tight, if we can stay in the game, put in a good effort, it could be one hell of a spectacle for a big international tournament. 4-2-3-1 for us. What are Ireland playing? Hopefully something a bit more defensive. It is not. It's 4-4-2. You've got two big men up front. Bolger, we saw, is high quality. They've been unbeaten in this tournament. A few draws and then a couple of wins. So let's see how they get on here. Northern Ireland v the Republic of Ireland. England v Sweden to follow. Tell you what, the UK would be getting a lot of money in from bars this week, wouldn't they? As Johnny Burns finds press into Cowan. Here's Burns again. Back to Hagan in central defence. Good to see us on the ball early, trying to keep possession and move forward. As Monaghan finds Cowan, chips it forward. It's a poor ball. And you did feel, I was going to say before we lost it here, we're going to do anything in this game, it's probably got to be early, given the fitness. As Fitzpatrick down the right to Bolger, Beacom does really well. Gets it back to Morgan Hassan with a big ball forward. Donnelly up, but Clark wins it. And we haven't got the energy to press. We haven't got the players to go and push and engage on the ball. So they are going to get out fairly easily. As Fitzpatrick down the right. Crossing's good. Oh, not like that. One siding defender missed his challenge. Hamilton's one bobbled off Hagan. And it goes into the corner. Keeper completely beaten by it. I mean, that's just misfortune. First shot of the game goes in. The Republic of Ireland are ahead. Let's try and encourage the lads because they're a bit flat in terms of their morale and mentality. But we are back with a quarter of the game gone. It's a free kick for Albert Press. Wouldn't mind a bit of magic. It's just over the bar. It's just not quite happening for us this time, is it? There's not been much in the game. It's not been dominant at all from Ireland. But it doesn't need to be. They've got the goal. We've seen in this position before late on against England and Switzerland we conceded late goals. We've got to try and avoid this as O'Reilly gets it to Hamilton. Cannot go in two down here. Kingston's ball through is intercepted by Monaghan. It falls back to him, but he shoots over the bar. We're getting away with it. It feels like we're surviving a bit, even though the stats wouldn't suggest that. We've got a late corner in the first half with Thompson, though, to the back post, headed away. Clingan will get there on the edge. Beats his man. That's a penalty. Referee, you've got to give that. He's pointed to the spot, but we've got a VAR check. Do not overturn this. I mean, it doesn't matter that much. We've not got any good penalty takers. Who's going to take it? The best rated, I think it might be Johnny Burns. Or did I put Donnelly to the top? No, it's Johnny Burns. He's the best at the club. And there you go. The Irish Premiership man has come into the side and he's let us down. Or I might not be signing him for Distillery now because that is a huge moment. He's the only one with a good rating, but it just doesn't happen for us. And I go back to my superstition from last Sunday's top three. We're now even in the game, should be 1-1. And Johnny Burns has missed a penalty kick. I'm going to say we need to be better than that. I'm going to point the finger. Let's get some shots on target. I mean, the game's there for the taking from what we've seen so far. Ireland haven't offered a huge amount. One deflected goal, whereas we've missed a penalty. Otherwise, it could be 1-0 the other way. As a corner's headed away. Back into Cowan. 1-1. Big goal from Kieran Cowan. Not sure what he's doing in there. He's a short winger. He's not great in the air. But he's managed to nick a second ball and just prods it home for 1-1. And now we've got a bit of momentum about us. Johnny Burns is struggling. Do I go for that aggressive change that I mentioned with Klingon and Mackie? Beacon's up at the back post, but Bazunu wins it. The penalty saving hero on the ball. Hopefully he doesn't set up a goal now. We're going to have to look at the legs in a minute and maybe bring on some fresh players as Hagan at the back finds Kieran Cowan the scorer. Heavy touch and nowhere getting on the end of it. It's back to Clark at centre half. He plays it over the top to Kingston and again we're out of shape back there. Kingston gets to the byline. Cross is deflected again. Well won by Hagan and Press brings it clear. Look how deep we are. We've got 10 of our 11 players in our own third. That's not a way to win a game as Hassan plays out to Thompson. I'm looking at the moment thinking both fullbacks and Press perhaps and Johnny Burns as Donnelly's in. Jamie Donnelly deflects straight into Bazunu's arms. Oh, he was surrounded by three, gave it a go. And he's not having a great game either. We're going to make the subs now because we need fresh legs. Monaghan for Bradley at right back. Not too much of a change in quality. Thompson for our Distillery man Kyle Carr. Johnny Burns will switch with Klingon. And we're going to go for Mackie on the left wing. Do not get sent off this time. And then Albert Press. Who can we bring on? We've not really got an option, have we? Part of me is wanting to gamble. And I think I'm going to. Because Jamie Donnelly is a player who has got the skills to play attacking mid. But has not done it. He's not having a good game up front. So he's going to go number 10 with David Close through the middle. It's the sort of gamble that could make me look ridiculous soon. But we're going to go for it. And I guess if we do concede, we can then throw 2 up front. Because we've got a throw on the right with Connor Bradley. Am I going to be tactical genius or tactical idiot? As Kian Klingon cuts in. Great ball to Mackie. Tactical genius is the answer. Klingon moves into centre midfield for the first time under my management. Delivers a beautiful pass that he would have been running onto normally. But Mackie, the man who was sent off against Switzerland, is back in a blaze of glory. And my word, talk about redemption. His name will be in the paper for the right reason this week. 5 minutes to go, we're 2-1 up. And we've got a Euros quarter-final just moments away. Oh, what do I do? I'm panicking now. I have no idea what change to make. I'm not going to make any for the minute. We're going to get to the 90-minute mark. There's 4 added on. We're going to time waste our backside off. I've got to take Beacom off. He can't move. Connor Brown is going to come on the youngster. The fullbacks are going to defensive duties. Both of them will do that. And they're comfortable doing it as well. We've got 2 defensive midfielders who are not going to change apart from both defensive duties. Donnelly I've got to leave as he is. But Mackie and Cowan, wingers on support, will go traditional 4-4-1-1. We're going to time waste all the time. We're not going to play out of defence. We're just going to boot it forward. Let David Close chase it. And what else we do, I don't know. We're going to whip crosses. We're going to slow the pace down when we get it in goal. I don't want to go too time wasting here. But I also want to make sure that we don't get caught out. We've got 4 minutes of stoppage time separating us from a famous victory and from a quarter final of an international tournament. Northern Ireland have won a trophy domestically with Linfield in the Europa Conference. And now we're into the quarter final. The Battle of Ireland is won by Northern Ireland. And Mackie, after his red card 2 games ago, is back with a proper taste of redemption. Let's go and see who we're facing in the quarterfinals. We'll be back in a moment for that game. And God knows who's going to be fit out of this mob. We're back for the quarterfinal. And should we start with the good news, the bad news, or the very bad news? Because we are playing England in the quarterfinal, a side that beat us in the groups. Another all-UK clash again. And against world-class players, we're going to struggle. The good news, though, on the flip side of that, or so I thought, is that we got 6 days off between the last 16 and the quarter-final. The bad news is, it has made absolutely no difference. Nearly everyone is not fit. And most importantly, if you look at Kieran Cowan, who scored in the last game, he's not even fit enough to be really involved. He's going to have to be just to fill the bench. But I don't really understand how the fitness is so bad in this situation. We've got a very fatigued 11. We can't make the changes that England no doubt will today. But what we have got is young players who can come on and get a great experience if we're losing. Aaron Hill is back into the team. Doesn't matter if he doesn't survive physically after this one. What we've got for today then is just one change. It's Bradley in for Cowan, which is enforced. In fact, it's two changes, isn't it? Aaron Hill is back and in for Johnny Burns. The rest of it stays the same. For how long in this game, I don't know. But we've got youngsters we can bring on if need be. Close and Brown are going to get a lot of football soon. I would have loved it if we could have afforded Connor Brown on loan at Distillery. Let's go and get through the team selection and into the big game, a European Championship quarter-final. This might be the best we ever do at international level, so we've got to enjoy the occasion while we can. Well, for the second time in this tournament, we come up against England. Guehi and Bellingham again start, as does Paul Holt, the star striker. They have brought in a few others though. Reece James starts this one. They've changed the right back. They've changed the other striker to the man who set up the third goal rather than the man who scored the first. But they've got so much quality, it's going to be very difficult. Let's go and tell the lads we're underdogs. Give it everything you've got. Two big rivalries in a row, and two of the most tired players are the ones who are motivated. To be honest, anything less than an embarrassment, I'd be very happy with this. The bars were full last week, they're going to be full this time, aren't they? Let's see if we can remain competitive. As it's Reece James with the throw on the right to Holt. He goes down the line, skins Thompson like he's not there. Beacon wins it back and plays out to Ives. Big switch of play is straight to Bernard, but it's won back by Monaghan. Scrappy little passage of play this, as Albert Press gets it, almost mugged in possession, finds Ives, who gets it to Bradley. He is robbed in possession, though Aaron Hill is back in. What is going on here? It's a bit of a circus act, this performance. It's just constant mistakes from both sides. Out to Reece James and Irons, and it's back to Wiles and Cattrall as England get the ball under a bit of control at last. And you think this is going to lead to something. It's been a long highlight. It's going to lead to a good chance, isn't it? Here is Wiles on the right. Got two or three running off them. We can't deal with the amount of runners they've got. And that is a cracking effort from Dylan Beale. Smashes the woodwork. Hassan, lucky it didn't hit him on the way back out. We survive it. It's out for a goal kick. Now we're at the other end with Albert Press, who's lost possession. Does win it back for Ives, though. Oh, imagine we nick one. Get a goal up. Just give the nation that moment. That's all we can ask for, isn't it? An Englishman managing Northern Ireland against England. I mean, I can't win here. As Monaghan gets the ball to the back post to Klingon. He's at the byline. Cross in. Finds Connor Bradley. Loses out in the air and it's away to Bellingham. Probably going to be Bradley's last tournament. He's well in his 30s now. He's on the decline physically at Napoli. And maybe we can nick him back in the nation, who knows. But Monaghan on the right, down the line to Bradley. Got two running off him, he goes alone. Connor Bradley with a shot. Probably should have done better there in truth. A more even 10 minutes than we expected. But it is 0-0 still as Monaghan throws into press. It's a very active game this. Donnelly can't get on the end of it. He's had a poor tournament, albeit with very little service, as Beale gets himself in one-on-one, and he's put it wide as well. Looks like a lot of tired legs from the start. It's been a very scrappy game. And we're back just 5 minutes later as England play down the right with Reece James and Holt. Has support from James again, and he takes on Thompson with a brilliant delivery. It's headed away to Irons and Bellingham. Into Holt, it's a good finish. And it's 1-0 to England. They've dominated the game in the last 5 or 10. And they've got their big chance. Paul Holt, the Real Madrid man, puts it in. Set up by Bellingham, the superstar. I think that's our tournament over now. Well, it's calmed down massively. Now England have got the lead. At half-time, it remains 1-0, but no highlights for the last half an hour. Gonna say we're disappointed. I'm a bit upset with Jamie Donnelly. Again, probably his final tournament for us now. He's, 31 years of age. Maybe he'll get to the next one, but I'd expect David Close to overtake him by then. So maybe his first one, or his last one as first choice, sorry. But what a player he's been for this country. As Wiles plays it forward to Irons. Chipped over the top towards Holt. Beacon deals with it. How long is he going to last physically? If they get a second, we'll probably bring the youngsters on. As Bellingham heads just over. Aaron Hill struggling as well. It was a race to be fit anyway. And Klingon on the left. Maybe we give Mackie another go. Did score against England last time and the winner in the last game. As Thompson finds Klingon. 1-2. Loses the ball to Holt. I mean, we're out a puff. Thompson just had nothing to give there. Bellingham gets in. Great run. Shot over the bar. All England. The physicality is really imposing on us. And we just can't deal with it. Let's get to the hour mark and then we'll look at changes. As it's a throw on the right for England with Reece James. Into the box which Hagan heads away. Press gets up, but who's going to get there? Jude Bellingham, of course, to Worrell. And Guehi as England completely in control. Everyone in our half. Bellingham chips over the hole. He's in for 2-0 and he makes it 2-0. Played onside, I think, by the right back Monaghan. And I think now is the signal for changes. We're going to bring on the youngsters. We're going to enjoy the experience. But our run will end at the quarter-final stage. Although Albert pressed with a free kick to the back post. Headed away as far as James. Klinger nicks it. Shoots just over. Oh, a rare moment of attacking intent. But not enough. Let's go and make the subs now. We'll be back in a minute to run through them. Well, we've made all 5 changes with a quarter of the game to go. And I've tried to focus on those who have either not been on the pitch yet or the youngsters, as we know. We might have a penalty here. David Close, one of those changes, gets into the box and Wiles potentially has brought him down. Now, Johnny Burns has just come on and I think we know what that's going to mean. It's a bit of a worry for me because he missed his last one, but Connor Bradley's on and this time he will take the penalty. One of the most experienced players in this squad and he has thundered it in off the underside of the bar. Keeper guessed right, but you have no chance with that. Northern Ireland back in it. The 5 changes made. Connor Brown on at right back for Monaghan. Burns on in midfield for Aaron Hill. Back to what we had at the start of the last game. And then in attack, we had Close on for Donnelly, who was on a yellow. Mackie on for Klingon. And Press replaced by Murphy, who makes his first appearance, I think, at the Euros. As James goes for the cross, deflects off Thompson. Hassin's up. He's made a hash of it. Thankfully, Shanahan, the sub, heads over. But England, to be fair, we've done what we expected. We've given them a game. We've been competitive. And I'm really pleased with that overall. Hopefully we can get through the last 15 without any injuries. And then I consider it a good day. A great tournament to reach the quarters. And I tell you what, we're growing into this with Murphy. Down the right-hand side, fresh legs. Challenged well by Salis. But he keeps the ball, Murphy. Has options inside. Goes back to Brown. And Hagan into Burns. Nice football here from Northern Ireland. Connor Brown out at right back this time. Big delivery in. Nobody's there. Reece James will get it. He plays out to Cattell. They're still confident playing from the back, England. But that's not the best ball. Bradley will chase. Connor Brown will get there. Down the right he goes. Plays short to Burns. Chips up towards Murphy. Is headed away. Nice to see us competitive and having a go. But this is about to be it. Big ball over the Paul Hull. Paul Hull puts it in. And the man from Real Madrid, the Ballon d'Or top 3 contender, has put us to the sword in this tie. He has absolutely wiped the floor with our defence. It is 3-1. It's a hat-trick for Hull. Bellingham sets up 2 of them. And I'm afraid it's game and tournament over. But what an effort to reach the quarterfinals. Great to see some of the future stars involved and some of our Distillery boys. But the tournament comes to an end after a competitive game with another 3-1 defeat to England. It was disappointing, but I'm proud of the effort. Well done, lads, for reaching the quarter-final. Now the attention will turn back to Distillery. Well, another suspension for Mackie, who might well be a player at Distillery by the next episode if I get my way. We've got to meet the homegrown quotas, and he might be the man to help us do that. But what a showing at the Euros. To get to the quarter-final, a much better effort than our World Cup 2 years ago, and a much younger squad, which bodes well for the future. Just need 2 or 3 stars to come through, which potentially could happen from the current youth teams. For now, though, we are going to get forward and move on with the transfer window. We've got to press on quickly, really, because I can't lie, I've taken my eye off the ball a bit, focusing on Northern Ireland, and as a result, with a month to go, we're a little bit behind. Thankfully, we're not in European action until the 3rd qualifying round this year. We're guaranteed group stages in something, but it would be great financially if we can make the Champions League again. We'll be back in August for that, as well as the early games in the league season. Linfield might end up getting moved again due to the Champions League. But if you enjoyed it, a great run in the Euros with Northern Ireland and more big transfer news with Distillery, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments how you think we can press on with the nation. More importantly, should I go and get Mackie to meet my homegrown quota? I've basically given them their replacement already. If you're looking forward to finding out what we do and how we get on next season at Lisburn Distillery, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time for the new season. But first of all, the head coach will return tomorrow. We also had a fun episode on Sunday reacting to your top FM superstitions after my top 3 the week before. You can find them in the eye above with the Twitch channel, the football podcast and more. Anything else you can't find will be in the description below. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time for a new season at Lisburn Distillery.